Good morning. Thanks for clicking in this Monday morning. Hey, I wanted to make sure to give a shout out to Jan Solman. It is Jan's 14th year anniversary with Remax Integrity tomorrow. Jan was the first agent we hired, came with the first few agents that we hired 14 years ago. So happy anniversary, Jan. I guess that makes Remax Integrity 14 years old tomorrow as well. I want to talk just for a second about MLS Now. As everyone knows, we launched MLS Now 4 or 5 months ago and got it up and going, got all the bugs worked out. A lot of you have gone in and enhanced your listings using sign writers, that type of thing, which is great. We're now exploring a media campaign to get the word out to the general public, how to use MLS Now, what it is, so that beyond just seeing our writers on our signs, which is probably the most important item still, we can get it on brochures and billboards, perhaps radio, maybe even a little bit of local television. Easy for you to say. So that should be coming up. We've met with the media consultants last Friday to put together a budget. In the next couple of weeks, hopefully we'll know what we're doing on that. But our plan is to take MLS Now, which is unique to Remax Integrity, it's exclusive to us, and expand that, because I think it's a real big driving tool, much more than a Homes magazines and that type of thing, and a unique marketing advantage, not only for us to get buyer leads, but to talk to our sellers about that we have that product. So I'll have more information coming up on that. The other thing I want to talk about real quick is I've heard a lot of folks talking about different real estate companies, not only in our local markets, Eugene, Corvallis, Albany. There's companies out of Portland that do this, that are charging very cheap fees to work there. So an agent can go there and pay X amount of dollars a year, which is a fraction of what they'd pay at a full-service real estate office like ours or any of the other national companies. The one thing I want to caution everybody about that is there's two things you have to take into consideration to get to the bottom line, which is the money you take home in your wallet every month. There's the fees you pay, and the cheapest fees are not always the best value for you. In other words, you can work at real estate companies. I think there's one in Portland. You can hang your license there and pay like $195 per transaction if you get one. And so you pay them hundreds of dollars a year. It's probably not even thousands of dollars a year. But for that, you get virtually nothing. So you need to look at both the income you're bringing in as well as the fees you're paying. And cheap fees do not necessarily mean more income. Because when you go to a company that doesn't have national exposure and doesn't have that type of thing, while the fees are cheap, you're losing deals because you don't have the national exposure, you don't have the broker support. So make sure if you're talking to somebody who's looking for a cheap fee company that they're looking at both the income and the expenses. I think all of us tend to look at just expenses, especially right now, what's going on in the economy, and some people are cutting off their nose to spite their face. I mean, it's a fact, undisputed fact, and pull it up in multiple, that those companies that charge cheap fees, whether they're in Portland, Eugene, Corvallis, Albany, Salem, wherever, those agents are producing a fraction of what agents are that are working for full-service companies like ours. So you need to look at both. I mean, the bottom line is if cheap was the best, we'd all be out of business, because no one would list their houses with us, because we charge a full fee as we should, because we're going to make them more money in the services we provide. I mean, the bottom line is if you're just looking for cheap, every homeowner should FSBO their house. But we know statistically they lose money doing that. Or they could pay $395 for a company to drop their house in a multiple. Those are cheap fees, but we know statistically the house sells for less. So you really need to be looking at the bottom line, not always what's cheapest on the fees. Couple reminders, things coming up at 11 o'clock today. Heather's having a webinar on why image matters, phone, web etiquette, how you're perceived on the web and that type of thing. So look in your emails. Heather sent emails on that, and you can just click into one of those webinars. The 29th of this month, which is a week from Wednesday, Thursday, something like that, is a chili feed, which is in Eugene. All offices are invited. Last year we had a good showing from up north, so you can sign up to bring chili so that you are in the chili cook-off. And I guess this year it's just the People's Choice Award. You can email Judy Thomas and let her know if you're planning on bringing chili. That's always fun. We provide lunch for everybody, chili, cornbread. So put that on your schedule. And again, that's for the 29th. This week, Victor Gerst celebrating a birthday, on Friday. Barbara Thomas on Sunday. And Ann Grimson up in Corvallis is giving Brent Cole a run for his money. She's got a Lead Street lead that appears to be a good one she's working at. Brent gave me grief for calling him the Lead Street stud last week, so it looks like you may not be anywhere anymore, Brent, so sorry about that. So that's about all I've got this week. I hope you have a great week. It looks like the weather's going to change a little bit, but sunshine will be back. Have a great week. Thanks.